Hey basketball fans! Welcome back to Basketball Convos. Today, we've reached day 30 of our NBA 2024 offseason recap. We saved an exciting one for last, as we're diving into the offseason of the San Antonio Spurs. Starting with a quick recap of last season, the Spurs finished with a 22-60 record, placing them 14th in the Western Conference. It was another rough year in terms of wins, but there were a lot of bright spots in terms of development. They were in full rebuild mode, focusing on the growth of their young core like Victor Wembanyama and Jeremy Sohan. It was clear the Spurs weren't aiming for the playoffs last season, but they set the stage for a much brighter future. Wemby has also showcased his generational talent and even came in second in the DPOY vote. Now, let's get into the exciting offseason moves. The Spurs made some key additions that have everyone buzzing. First and foremost, they brought in Chris Paul on a one-year deal for $11 million. CP3 is the ultimate floor general, and he brings much-needed leadership and veteran presence to this young Spurs squad. His playmaking ability, basketball IQ, and mentorship will be invaluable, especially for a team trying to take the next step. Imagine him throwing lobs to Wembanyama or setting up the offense with precision. Spurs fans, you should be thrilled about this move. How long have you been waiting for a true point guard to pair with Wemby? Another big addition is Harrison Barnes, who was acquired via trade from the Sacramento Kings. Barnes is a solid two-way forward who can provide scoring, defense, and championship experience. He's been through it all and will give the Spurs a reliable veteran on the wing. His presence should take some pressure off the younger guys, allowing them to develop without having to carry the full burden night in and night out. The Spurs also re-signed a couple of key rotational pieces in Charles Bassey and Sandro Mamukelashvili. Both big men are on one-year deals worth $2.2 million each, and they'll be crucial in providing depth in the frontcourt. While they might not grab headlines, these guys will play an important role in keeping the team competitive when Wembanyama or Zach Collins need a breather. Rookie Stephon Castle, the 4th overall pick in the 2024 draft, is another huge addition. Castle is a dynamic combo guard with size, scoring ability, and defensive upside. He's got the potential to develop into a future star, and learning from a veteran like Chris Paul is only going to accelerate his growth. Castle's arrival is another signal that the Spurs are building something special. The tall point guard would seamlessly mesh into the Spurs' lengthy roster. The Spurs also picked up Harrison Ingram with the 48th pick, who has an NBA-ready body and could develop into a great two-way player given the right development. Spurs also signed David Duke on a two-way contract, giving the Spurs some flexibility with their roster. Malachi Flynn, B.J. Boston Jr., and Riley Minix were also brought in on Exhibit 10 contracts, providing more depth and competition as training camp rolls around. Meanwhile, the Spurs did part ways with a few players, including Devonte'Graham, who was traded and then waived, and Dominic Barlow, who signed with Atlanta. Cedi Osman also left in free agency, which opens up more opportunities for younger wings to step up. Alright, now let's dive into what the Spurs depth chart looks like heading into next season. The starting lineup is shaping up to be an exciting mix of veterans and young talent. Chris Paul will be running the show at point guard, providing elite playmaking and leadership. Devin Vassell, who has shown tremendous improvement as a scorer and defender, will start at shooting guard. Keldon Johnson will slide in at small forward, and Jeremy Sohan will hold down the power forward spot. Sohan's development, particularly on the defensive end, will be key for the Spurs' future success. Of course, the crown jewel of this team is Victor Wembanyama, who will start at center. Wemby has the potential to be a transformative player on both ends of the floor. Offensively, he's already got the skill set to score from anywhere, and his size makes him a nightmare matchup. Defensively, he's a shot-blocking machine with the ability to guard multiple positions. As a rookie, Wemby actually averaged 3.6 blocks per game, which is insane. The thought of Chris Paul setting him up for easy buckets is enough to make any Spurs fan excited for the future. The bench is looking solid as well, with Trey Jones as the backup point guard and Malachi Branham providing scoring off the bench. Harrison Barnes will be a key piece in the rotation, offering experience and versatility, while Sidy Cissoko and Zach Collins will add more depth in the frontcourt. Rookies Stephon Castle and Julian Champagnie are exciting prospects, and they'll get valuable minutes to continue their development. Sandro Mamukelashvili and Charles Bassey will round out the rotation, providing backup at the center position. So, what can we expect from the San Antonio Spurs this upcoming season? Well, there's no doubt that adding veterans like Chris Paul and Harrison Barnes should help them win more games than last year. CP3's leadership and playmaking alone could swing a few close games in the Spurs' favor. But the big question is how quickly Wembanyama can ascend to stardom. Could he become a top 10 player in the league this season? It's not out of the question. His unique skill set, combined with the mentorship of Paul, could catapult him into elite status sooner than expected. But the balance between youth development and winning will be a tricky one for Coach Greg Popovich. How will he juggle getting reps for young players like Castle and Branham while also competing for wins with veterans like Paul and Barnes? That's one of the biggest storylines to watch. I think the Spurs are looking at a significant improvement from last season. With Wemby leading the charge and the addition of veterans to guide the young core, I can see this team winning 38 games and be in position for play-in. The future is bright in San Antonio, and the rebuild is starting to take shape. That wraps up our NBA 2024 offseason recap series. Let me know what you think about the Spurs offseason in the comments, and if you've enjoyed this series, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. This is Basketball Convos. Bye for now!